Hi, this is Mike O'Brien. I'm Senior Editor of Multichannel Merchant. I'm talking today with Kevin Thompson, who's the Distribution Systems Manager for Outdoor Outfitter Cabela's. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Okay, so we're talking today about automation in the DC for order fulfillment, and there's obviously a lot that's going on there in terms of the latest capabilities and technologies. So that's a little bit what we wanted to talk about today with Kevin. So maybe you can talk about, from your perspective, what are you seeing are kind of like the latest features, systems that are available to help automate operations in the distribution center?
I think one of the big things, or the big areas that um, could affect us in the future or help us in the future would be how to handle piece picking and piece packing and shipping. As we increase our volume, get more stores, we are looking at opportunities to, first of all, want to reduce the number of each picks, but also know that as a whole, we're going to increase the volume, and that's where the cost is the highest, and we're trying to reduce that as much as possible.
Okay, and how much automation, just like generally talk about for any merchant who's looking at this, how much automation do you think is needed based on things like the business objectives, the company strategy, the budget that they're looking at, that kind of thing? So talk about, how much, obviously there's a lot of variance, a lot of things that can play into that.
I think it largely depends on the volume that you have to process. If you have a large volume, I know from my experience that it makes a lot more sense to pick orders in bulk and then sort later, which would require some level of automation. Now, picking the order might make some sense, but from that standpoint, we essentially have too many items and too many orders that it doesn't work for us. So from that perspective, we have that. Also, the majority of our automation relates to sorting pieces as well as shipping and manifesting systems. We do have other intermediate systems that we're doing automation with packing from a bagging operation and from an auto box operation. So that's reducing our cost considerably as well.
And also in terms of budgeting, uh, are there now systems that are available? I mean, obviously there's advanced things like robotics and goods to person that can get very expensive, but are there systems available now where companies that are maybe in the sort of like the mid-level and just looking to get into automation can get into without, busting the bank?
Well, I think one thing to start with, which we've done in the past in many different areas, is that we've started off with labeling product and using manual labor to actually do the sorting. So we'd set up some conveyor and maybe some lanes off the conveyor and have somebody actually sort it down to the correct lane, depending on whether we want to uh, go into a packing operation or a shipping operation. So you don't have to automate it extensively to get started, but as you see that, one of the advantages I see is that if you start through more of a manual operation, then you can see some of the things that maybe you would not see if you went directly into automation to improve it overall. So at least you go into it, your investment would be less just by the fact that you wouldn't necessarily want to do upgrades as soon as maybe you would if you directly stepped into the to the automation.
Okay, and talk about ways that automation can help in areas like reducing costs, optimizing the footprint of your facility, shorten time to customer, things like that.
Well, the big thing that we see is again in our automated packing operations, where our operation will actually, once you put your items into the box, it will automatically put the packing list into the box. It will seal the box. It will apply the shipping labels. So all we really have to do is scan the items into the box, put the box on the conveyor, and the rest of it is done, systematic or automatically. We have some bagging operations that are very similar. We just place the stack of product on the conveyor, it goes through, does the bagging, sealing, and putting the shipping label on the bag. So that works real well. In addition to that, certainly shipping automation, where we actually divert into the appropriate trailers by service level or by shipper. That saves a lot of time just by being able to scan the shipping label and divert it accordingly. So that eliminates some labor as well. We have a break case operation, which ultimately becomes fairly manual. But as far as getting the product and the cases from the reserve area or from storage to the area for packing, that's very seamless. We have an operation where from a receiving for cross stock, we will unload the case onto the conveyor, and as long as we have a dock door open for that store, it will divert right into the trailer. So the next touch on that case will be stacking it in the trailer. Eliminates a lot of the steps in between.
Okay, terrific, thanks. And so if you want to hear more insights into an in-depth analysis on trends like order fulfillment automation, come to the Operations Summit this year, which is going to be held from April 14th to 16th in Louisville, Kentucky. And there's going to be over 50 merchant speakers and sessions going into depth on direct-to-consumer e-commerce and omnichannel operations. And you'll hear Kevin and a number of other great speakers on these topics and come away with a lot of valuable insights. So again, Kevin, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.